Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's LinkedIn Live on tracking AWS cost and performance with Sumo Logic. Before we get started, we wanted to introduce ourselves. I'm Michael Reardon. I'm a Senior Product Marketing Manager here at Sumo, and today I'm joined by Greg Ziemecki.
Hi, everyone. I'm Greg. I'm Senior Product Manager at Sumo Logic, and I'm focused on building Sumo Logic's cloud infrastructure monitoring capabilities. So just like providing observability to your cloud, and I'm really excited to chat about the trends we're seeing today in the market today. So on that note, Michael, if you can tell what are hearing from users today on this topic.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. So obviously we're hearing and seeing a few things given sort of the strange macroeconomic environment we find ourselves in. One, users are obviously interested in kind of taking a fine-tooth comb to their overall cloud spend and investment, kind of a real focus on long-term cost optimization exercises. And since we're in the business of monitoring, some also raise, controlling their monitoring spend. And I would say because of this, there's definitely, some interest in consolidating, tools consolidating on one platform for monitoring and observability use cases. And I would say from Sumo users' perspective, so many of them are focused on getting to the root cause of any issue with robust log analytics. And obviously from the AWS lens, a lot of our users are really focused on us helping to provide integrations, to get robust visibility into their AWS environment. So given this, I know your team, Greg, has been thinking about how to enable organizations to have better visibility into their AWS costs on top of sort of the foundational, troubleshooting functionality that we provide in terms of, log analytics, centralizing their logs so that they can get to the root cause faster. So in light of this, what are some of the common use cases that customers can take advantage of if they're interested in sort of managing their AWS costs and bringing that data into Sumo?
Yeah, thanks. To address the challenges that you've mentioned, we noticed that on the product side as well, right? So at the end of last year, we have entered a GA with our AWS Cost Explorer application. So it's like an integration of Sumo Logic and AWS Cost Explorer. So we are capable now to ingest the cost-related data to Sumo Logic platform, right? And then obviously there are a couple of use cases that those data help us with, right? So first of all, optimization, right? So you can take those data and look like in a more long-term period, how much you are charged, what are you spending, and look at the areas, the potential areas where you can optimize, right? So the biggest accounts or the biggest services you have, right? Because the biggest service there is, I think the easiest is like to save some costs around that. But that's not only the one use case. So optimization would be one. Then another aspect might be like a sudden spikes in cost, right? So we've seen a situation that some of the services have been spent and forgotten, right? Or just like there might be also a natural situation that the spike has occurred, right? It's perfectly normal. But there are some situations like we can help with our application, right? And also Sumo Logic platform capabilities help with that by some monitoring and alerting capabilities, right? So that would be another aspect. A third aspect would be like, okay, perhaps it's not so straightforward, but it's like to build a organizational cost awareness, right? So sometimes we forget that we need also to pay for our developers, I would say accounts on which we develop certain features, right? So we spin up machine, we forget about it. That's cost. There are also costs associated with that. So that kind of use cases we are trying to address, and obviously we are also aware that there are dedicated solutions for managing the cost. But I think with what we have today is like, I would say, with 80%, with 20% of the cost data, you can address 80% of the use cases already with that. So you don't need a fancy tools for that. You just like if you already have a Sumo platform, you can already use that cost explorer integrations to provide this kind of value to yourself, right? So the best would be when we see it. Let's dive into the product, how it will practice. So basically, what you have is like logic user interface, and you already see the so there is like a set of dashboards, a couple of panels on it. From already a value because we have designed for you by from scratch based on the raw data, and if we look at so naturally we have capabilities visual cost from multiple accounts, so from main accounts and from linked accounts already on one dashboard. So overall, from optimization perspective, you can also see that over the last week, there's been some changes over the last week. There might be, there are some ups and downs that we might be looking at, but overall, the trend is flat. But if we look at, let's say, the biggest contributors in terms of accounts, so we see, for instance, UX prod and data prod. So there are top 2 accounts. We have already aliases for them in our product. Right? So you see already the names. You are not seeing the accounts IDs only, but you see already the name, so you can directly associate with the account. And you see the top 2, let's say, contributors to that. Okay, so perhaps you would like to deep dive more, right? Okay, so perhaps well, if we look at by region, so we see that US East 1, it's there, like it's costing us twice as much as the US 1. And if we look again at the top contributors, we see again on data prod, right? It was like our second biggest contributor, and we have UX prod again. It's like orange one. Okay, we have top 2 contributors in US East 1. Okay, that a pretty serious candidate for optimization. And still, if you go further, we got we know the accounts, we know the region, but what else? Well, we need to, let's say, more to be able to optimize, right? So hey, let's look at the service. So among all the services that are running on those accounts and all those regions, we see there are like top 2 services that I think they're already generating most of the costs. So there's like Amazon CloudWatch, so actually related to the logs and metrics. So there's like, again, data prod and UX prod account. If you look at the tooltip over there, yeah, perhaps someone turn on some logging. We need that or not? Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's see that. Perhaps someone enabled some custom metrics, and that generated a lot of costs, right? And so on, so on. So there are multiple reasons. So I think that's already pretty good information for the optimization aspects. And again, EC2, obviously EC2 is like a core of our applications, right? So EC2 instances, but still a significant part of it, it's contributing to our cost. So we can also deep dive into let's say still operations, so still not gateway load balancing. So there is also a list of operations that you can look at and to see which is like generating you the most money. Yeah, but not only optimization. It's like I wasn't mentioning only optimization, right? So the other use case would be like to also track some sudden spikes, like and for instance, if we go one level deeper into the region already, so we have additional dashboards because the previous one was like an only overview. And if we go to the region, we can perhaps look at another panel. And we have like 10 top accounts by cost change. So here we are tracking the dynamics, right? So, so basically, like I mentioned, the power of Sumo platform is also to set up an alerts and monitors on that. So if you set an alert on that panel or that information, So you'll be notified about the spike, right? So that was like over 100% spike on this particular account. So it wasn't visible on the previous one. So we can already think that, okay, probably it doesn't generate so much of a cost. And also, if you look at this pie chart on the right, there is like UiProd account as well, and it contributes to 9%, right? Okay, so it's still not the biggest one, but still there is like a huge dynamics over the last week. And we can also quickly check it because, okay, we don't see any numbers. So we see that more than 100%, but 10% of overall spend, but how much exactly, right? So if you go down, you can also see a trend line of that account. So we see that it's pretty, okay, chaotic, I would say, or there are ups and downs. So it might suggest that, this account may be used like just like very the machines and the services are started or run and then are, let's say, are turned off. So it's okay. Perhaps there's nothing to worry. Someone is trying some services but it's like still remembering to shutting them down. So looks like there is like nothing to worry, but still looks like a false positive. But still, that may be something that if you would see like a different trend over here, right? So there was like something that has been suddenly, okay, this I would say line wouldn't drop, then would suggest that there is like something we need to look at. But overall here, I think we are pretty safe. So that would be like a 2 use cases that I've mentioned that could be addressed with our application.
Great. This has been really cool to kind of see firsthand, Greg. How does this fit within our broader sort of AWS observability solution? Are you able to sort of pivot between the performance data and this cost data to kind of understand how the spikes may be related?
Yeah. Also, the power of the data that we have is like not only that we are able to look at accounts, right? Because it's a quite high level, but we can go also to the we can go deeper, right? So we can go also to the services level and the operations level. So if, for instance, if we see at the services level, and again, if we look at the very similar panel that is showing the dynamics of particular of cost of particular service, right? So again, we can see, okay, there is like Amazon simple SQS basically, and we have also Amazon DynamoDB, right? So 2 examples. Yeah, but then how to validate, how to verify whether this is like something that should be worrying us or not. So we have also performance data, we have also logs, we have also audit data as part of our AWS observability. So if you look at on the left-hand side, we have a whole hierarchy of the services. So Sumo is able to create a kind of topology of your services. So we're able to understand your data and create a topology based on that. So you can just like very quickly go to the particular service, right? So if we have a SQS data, so by one click, we are already in SQS related dashboards, right? So we have performance data over here. So we have number of messages, we have how many messages have been sent, deleted, yeah. So all the performance data, but also all the audit data. So we are also able to see and locate who has created a particular QU, right? There is also filter for that, right? So we can also go for particular QU and show you that. And there are audit data, right? So we can directly correlate this cost spike with the person who has, for instance, run or put so many messages to the queue, right? Because there was like apparently some reason. So you see that's like SQS, and there was like also a DynamoDB. We also have a kind of performance and out of the box dashboards for that, right? So that this is where the power lies in, right? So directly from cost to performance and to audit data and look for the root cause, right? So because you have
Yep.
you're spending too much, but why? And
Why? Yeah.
and that's what we provide.
Well, awesome. Thank you for providing this overview. And it looks like we're hitting the 15-minute mark. I don't want to keep folks on for too long. So thank you all for joining us today. If you have any questions about kind of balancing AWS cost and performance within Sumo, feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn, message us. If you want to see more, get started today with a trial, feel free to sign up at sumologic.com or visit our AWS Marketplace listing, where you can learn more about what we offer in terms of AWS monitoring capabilities. It's been great to connect with you all. I hope you have a great day. And thanks, Greg, for joining me for this LinkedIn
Yeah,
Live.
thank you, Michael. It was a pleasure.